Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to The Pursuit of Calling, the podcast that provides you with the strategies and tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your calling. Whether it's through inspiring stories, thought-provoking interviews, or quick, insightful episodes on personal growth and development, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Thomas Carney. Enjoy the episode. All right, welcome to this episode. It's actually a pretty special episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast. I'm going to move the mic a little bit closer to my face. Okay, I think we're good. And okay, but first I want to say you can get 3 free coaching sessions right now. So they're calling coaching sessions. If you don't know what that is, this whole podcast is about the pursuit of calling. Your first introductory coaching session will be all about just really talking about your goals, and then honestly we can even get to the point of starting to create a plan for you to accomplish that goal. And it only takes 30 minutes. Well, 45 for the intro to go over some other things, but you know. I didn't rehearse that, so if you couldn't tell. Anyway, there's also some merch out there. You can go on and you can get 10% off your first order using the code PURSUE10. You can get it. It's also on a banner on the top of the website. Use it. That's code PURSUE10 to get 10% off your first order. You can go ahead and go to shop.pursuitofcalling.com now to get your merch. You get a shirt, you can get a hoodie, you can get a hat. We got it all over there. We don't got it all, but we got 3 things. It's pretty decent. Okay, but next, let's talk about the elephant in the room right now. I'm in a different room. I'm not the elephant in the room. That's rude. But I'm in a new room. I'm in a new home. I think I mentioned in previous episodes I moved recently. So that was exciting, tiring, exhausting, and we're not done yet. You can tell there's boxes behind me. If I move more, you see more of a mess. I'll move my chair so you see less of it. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should definitely go ahead and watch. You should definitely see the video. Watch the video on YouTube. There's definitely more. I think there's some data out there to say whenever you watch it, you retain it better. Maybe that's completely wrong. I'm talking out of my butt. But yeah. If you want to see my smiling face, go ahead. Go to the YouTube video. And, it's the same name as the podcast on the channel. Okay, but let's dive into what this actual episode is about. This is episode 101. I dropped the ball last week. Last week was episode 100, and I looked afterwards. I was like, what the heck? I've been doing this for 100 episodes. Not for 100 weeks, because I took a hiatus and missed a few weeks here and there, but 100 episodes. Like, that's crazy. And thank you for everyone that stuck around, some people that are new here. And guys, if you haven't gone back and listened to some old episodes, well, I'm going to give you a chance to well, you can go back whenever you want, but I'm going to give you a little tidbit of one of my favorite episodes that Sean and I did together whenever the podcast was called Technically Short. However, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. First, I want to talk about how this for those who are new here, I want to talk about how this podcast even started. This podcast started with a joke. Pastor, my friend Ed Newell, he made the joke that Sean and I, who are very dynamically different people, that we should join our podcast because of how different we were. He likes to jump in head first. I like to get the data. I like to have information before I even dip my toe in. You can get and like we would have stupid conversations about like I think our stupidest conversation was probably about which was best, an air mattress or a regular mattress. Most like stupidest argument we ever had. It was like we weren't mad at each other. It was just a heated debate that we had over mattresses. We don't have that recorded, unfortunately, but it would have been a great episode about nothing. But but I told that to Ed, and he was essentially like, you guys could talk about plants, and I would listen to it because it would be hilarious. And he just wanted something to laugh and listen to. And I was like, haha, that's kind of funny. Maybe we should. And then within that time frame, this woman I know, Michelle Croyle, who has her and her husband, I believe, do marriage coaching. I think marriage counseling coaching. But she is part of other networks, but I talked to her about my coaching. She coached me, and she even told me that I should start a podcast to get myself out there, and like. So then that my wheels really started rolling. Because I was already thinking about, I want to be a coach. I want to get myself out there. And this was a couple years ago now. And I don't know, my wheels started turning. Like eventually I talked to Sean. It's like, hey, I think we should do this. And he was ready. He was ready to do it whenever I told it to him the first time. I was the holdup. I was like I had to I had to be convinced, I guess, that it was a good idea, and also that I would be good at it because I have more introverted tendencies than not. I mean, I was like thinking about whenever I was writing out these notes, it caused me to reminisce about past episodes. One of the funniest episodes I think we did was about relationships. I remember Sean talked all about his favorite woman, the woman he was looking for, and he started naming off all these different hair colors. Literally named essentially every hair color on the planet Earth, and it was hilarious. Like if you don't know Sean, that's okay. You can go back and listen to the episode. I forget what it's called, but it's something about relationships. It's the only one we ever did, so you'll be able to find it back there in the backlog. Go ahead and check it out. But one of my favorite episodes that him and I did together was the episode him and I did with Meg Croyle during our long season of Why Are You Here? And this series is actually what shaped The Pursuit of Calling. It's what caused me to really love talking about purpose and calling. Why are you here? Why are you on this earth? Like, what is your purpose? What is your calling? And so I got to talk with, I think, at least 10 people. Sean and I did about this specific topic. We got different angles, different opinions even, and it started to mold my opinions and my thoughts, gathering all this information, and eventually that concept turned into what Pursuit of Calling is now. So I want to say Meg's episode was part 8, and that's insane. In her episode, she got really, really vulnerable with Sean and I. She started talking about her past fight with depression. She also talked about a mentor in her life that when she was young said, purpose comes when you look for it. And that opened up her eyes to how purpose can be seen in everyday circumstances. And I think that's one of the big things, again, that honestly shaped the podcast that I'm recording right now. That like the podcast, not the episode, but like the Pursuit of Calling as a whole. And how I started to think about purpose being everywhere that you are. The way that she said purpose comes when you look for it. It's like when you take a mundane task, a seemingly mundane task, but you look for the purpose in it, you'll find it. If you look like, what is the purpose in me going to school? What is the purpose in me doing my job? What is the purpose of me going to church? What is the purpose of me reaching out to a friend when they're in need. Like, not that that's mundane, but you get the idea. Like we all see life through a particular lens. And I remember she said she sees life through the lens of relationships. She's always seeing life through that lens. And man, like I'm like I said I didn't know what lens I was using to see life through. And I honestly, I didn't like write that in my show notes. I didn't think about it that much. But if I had to say something right off the top of my head, which is dangerous, I would say, does this help me pursue my calling? Does this help or pursue? And I don't know if that sounds selfish. Like, I say my calling, like, I don't want to say like, it's not like, will this benefit me? Because like I said before, your calling's not for you. But it's like, was what I'm doing right now, would this serve other people in the way I've been called to serve, or maybe the way I'm serving people? I want to serve. Maybe it's just like, I don't know. That's something I need to think about more before I start rambling, and I shouldn't like try to make something up on the spot because that wouldn't be genuine. So why haven't I had more people on the podcast? If having these conversations is what molded Pursuit of Calling into what it is today, why haven't I had more people on? And like I've thought about it, I was like, maybe it's laziness, maybe like I just keep making excuses. I don't think that's exactly it, or maybe that's not all of it. But I know a big part of it is because I wanted to hone a skill that I'm using right now. I wanted to hone the skill of being able to look into the camera and sit and talk and have my own notes, be able to create a message that I can share to benefit those who are listening, to what I have to say, so that you'll actually learn something relatively to just having some background noise. So like, this is off the cuff right here, but what can you be doing? Man, what is a skill that you've always wanted to get better at? Something that would help you in the long run. Now, I'm not talking about juggling. I would love to learn how to juggle. I'm not talking about like a cool like fringe skill. I'm talking about maybe you want to get better at public speaking. Maybe you want to grow in confidence. Maybe you want to maybe you want to start seeing like, what is the purpose in these everyday circumstances? That's a skill. What is that skill? Or maybe like you start thinking about what's a skill that can help me be more aligned with the calling that God has for me. And maybe if you don't know what your calling is, it's a skill it's a skill to continuously pursue your calling. It's a skill to be that disciplined. It's a skill to have that determination. That's really what it is. It's not it's just not just willpower. It's determination to be able to do these things. And like, man, one big thing that I learned in this, I wrote down though, like funny, one big thing I learned in these last 100 episodes is how to endure. I've learned how to endure pain. I learned how to, that's honest, like true. It has nothing to do with the podcast, but it kind of does at the same time. Cause it like, I've learned, like, I think we talked with Lee Hanyo episodes ago about how to endure and how your endurance in one area of life is going to help you in another area of life. And how I've endured my pain of muscular dystonia, I believe has also helped me endure this podcast. Now it makes it sound like it's a burden. And some days maybe it feels like that. But no, this podcast is a blessing. is I've endured putting episodes. I've endured the thoughts of doubt that I could even do this and grow this podcast. Like, downloads are still really low. I'm going to be honest with you, and that's because I haven't grown the skill. I don't believe I've grown the. Maybe I haven't grown the skill. Maybe I just haven't put enough reps in. I've heard you have to do 300 episodes. 300 episodes is usually when everything starts to pick up. So I'm like a third of the way there. I got a lot more determination to go. And like, I don't really know why that is. Maybe that's just how long it takes for algorithms to pick you up. Maybe it's like that's like the length of time it takes for you to realize what you need to actually do to grow your podcast. I don't know. But I heard 300 episodes, so that's the goal, is to hit 300 and hit our next goal is 150, then 200, 250. Like, we got milestones in here. We're not going to say 300 and then we're never going to get there. But anyway, I wrote down that it's okay to be in a valley, but it's not okay to stay there. And the reason I wrote that down was because downloads are low. I do have doubts, and just like everyone does, I think a few episodes ago, I had a very vulnerable update for you guys that I wasn't feeling all that great about the podcast, about coaching, and just because I haven't been active in it, or maybe I haven't been putting as much determination into this product, and I don't know, that caused me to shift again, and now I have a new vigor. I'm gonna start. I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna tell you what's going to happen. I don't know, but I can tell you what I want to happen. I want to continue podcasting. I want to continue to get better at this. I want to have more guests on. No promises on any of those. I don't know if I'm going to get better. I assume I will if I keep doing it, but I might be wrong. But I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I want to be honest with you. Just before I started recording, I reached out to a hopeful podcast guest to do a pre-interview. So here's hoping. So to wrap up the episode, guys, I want to go back, and I want you to go back and listen to Meg's episode. I mentioned it earlier. I'll link it in the show notes. So I want you to take notes on that, because it's one that you should definitely take notes on, listen to multiple times, and share it with your friends. And again, I want to mention, as we wrap up, again about the promotion I'm doing for 3 free coaching sessions. You don't even have to show up to all 3. You can show up the first one. If you don't like it, boom, gone. There's no obligation to pay, nothing. It's free. What do you have to lose? Not really anything. So, guys, I want to make sure that you know that you can share this out on social media. If you're on if you're on YouTube, go ahead and smash the like button. And if you use Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever, share it out on those platforms. Make sure to comment on Apple and Spotify and wherever else you can comment to get the word out. The algorithm picks this podcast up, and so we can get downloads up and get more people to pursue their calling well. Whew, that was good. All right, guys. All right, pursuers. I have to start saying that again. All right, pursuers. I'll see you next time. Peace.